Hello students, welcome to the lecture on Introduction to Economics, and after this lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the nature and scope of economics, discuss the meaning of microeconomics and macroeconomics, define the basic economic problems, explain the concepts of production, and define advantages of the study of economics. Let us begin the lecture by understanding what economics is. Economics is the study of the production and distribution of goods and services. It is the study of human efforts to satisfy unlimited wants with limited resources. In other words, economics is a study of the ways in which people use resources to satisfy their wants. There is a lot of debate on whether economics is a science or an art. Economics is classified as a social science because it deals with the study of man's life and how he lives with other men. Obviously, economics is interdependent with other sciences like sociology, political science, history, geography, and physics. The policies of the government influence economic activities. The geography of a region determines the main sources of incomes of the people, like fishing or farming. The solution of economic problems or economic planning may rely on past events or historical developments. In the case of physics, it produces machines and electricity. These are very useful in the production of goods and services. Likewise, religion is related to economics. Religious traditions and beliefs can discourage or encourage economic development. You would now be thinking that economics is definitely an art, but let me tell you the reasons which tell us that economics is a science, such as a science is a systematized body of knowledge. A branch of knowledge becomes systemized when relevant facts have been collected and analyzed in a manner that we can trace the effects back to there and project cases forward to their effects. In other words, laws have been discovered explaining facts. It becomes a science. In economics, also many laws and principles have been discovered, and hence it is treated as a science. Thus, we can say that economics is both science as well as art. Types of economy. Now I will introduce you to various types of economics. There are different types of economies. The type of economy that a society or a country uses depends on its level of technological advancement, population, trade relations with other societies, and level of natural resources. Four main types of economic systems exist in the modern world. Traditional economy. A traditional economic system is shaped by tradition, the work that people do, the goods and services they provide, how they use and exchange resources all tend to follow long established patterns. A society that has limited technological advancement and is still primarily a subsistence society employs a traditional economic system. Traditional economic systems rely on inheritance to pass down skills. Members of a traditional economy provide the services their parents and grandparents did. Hunting, gathering, and cultivation are the main tasks for workers in a traditional economy. A traditional economy is a very underdeveloped economy that often depends on agriculture as its main base. It is said that people in traditional economies accept change easily. In traditional economies, most produce only enough to keep their families alive. Any surplus in a traditional economy may go to a landowner or ruling authority. There are some advantages of traditional economy. One advantage of a traditional economy is that each person has a function in society. Social bonds are thus deepened. People typically feel more unified with the society, and a sense of worth often increases. Also, because goods are only made for survival, the country's natural resources may not as compromised as in other types of economies. Traditional system is having some disadvantages also, such as traditional economy is that individuals tend to remain in set roles in a traditional economy and their financial well-being rarely increases. Indeed, most of those living in this type of economy find themselves mired in poverty for their entire lives. Another kind of economy is the market economy. It relies solely on the needs and wants of the consumer population. Three factors which influence the development of a market economy are supply, demand, and competition. Supply and demand varies inversely to one another. High supply means low demand and vice versa. Competition influences the drive to produce goods and services of higher quality or lower cost. A market economy has 7 main characteristics. People buy what they want, but only if they can pay for it. Money becomes necessary for life. People are forced to do anything and to sell anything in order to get money. Maximizing profit rather than satisfying social needs is the aim of all production and investment. Discipline over those who produce the wealth of society is no longer exercised by other people as in slavery and feudalism, but by money and the conditions of work that one must accept in order to earn money. Rationing of scarce goods takes place through money, based on who has more than others, rather than through coupons, based on who has worked harder or longer or has a greater need for the good. And since no one is kept from trying to get rich and everyone is paid for what they do, people acquire a sense that each person gets and has gotten what he deserves economically. In short, that both the rich and the poor are responsible for their fates. Using this system of economics have certain advantages. Some of them are: competition between different firms leads to increased efficiency as firms do whatever is necessary, including laying off workers to lower their costs. Most people work harder. The threat of losing one's job is a great motivator. There is more innovation as firms look for new products to sell and cheaper ways to do their work. Foreign investment is attracted as word gets out about the new opportunities for earning profit. The size, power, and cost of the state bureaucracy is correspondingly reduced as various activities that are usually associated with the public sector are taken over by private enterprises. The forces of production, or at least those involved in making those things people with money at home or abroad want to buy, undergo rapid development. Many people quickly acquire the technical and social skills and knowledge needed to function in this new economy. A great variety of consumer goods become available for those who have the money to buy them. There are some disadvantages also. Unemployment. Businesses in the market economy will only employ those factors of production which will be profitable, and thus we may find a lot of unemployment as more machines and less labor will be used to cut cost. Certain goods and services may not be provided. There may be certain goods which might not be provided for by the market economy. Those which people might want to use but do not want to pay may not be available because the firms may not find it profitable to produce. For example, public goods such as street lighting. Consumption of harmful goods may be encouraged. Free market economy might find it profitable to provide goods which are in demand and ignore the fact that they might be harmful for the society. Ignore social cost. In the desire to maximize profits, businesses might not consider the social effects of their actions. Now let us discuss about the third type of economics, which is command economy. The basic difference between the market economy and the common economy is that the common economy has strong government control and the market economy system has very nominal control of the government. Characteristics of command economy. If we want to start our own business, we would have to get permission from the government. In a command economy, the government owns most of the industries and companies. Most of the command economies that existed in the world had strong central governments. These governments dictated how much was made and what was made by industry. In a command economy, the governing body controls the majority of wealth and resources, distributing it among the population accordingly. Let's discuss the advantages of command economy. The main advantages of a command economy is that services and goods provided are for the benefit of community and not to make profit, and also these services or goods are accessible to anyone. Other advantage of a command economy also includes the ability to respond very quickly to some sort of internal disaster or other type of emergency. Consumers benefit largely from a command economy as they have fixed prices, and as it is all government run, it is operated securely, which is very reassuring to the public as they know they will not be deceived when buying goods or services. Next advantage is having a low unemployment rate as the government can provide jobs which will increase GDP along with taxation revenue. Disadvantages of this system are there is little consumer choice. Since everything is allocated according to a planning process, consumers will have little say in what is provided directly by the state. Little variety of goods and services, loss of individual freedom. It leads to allocative and productive inefficiency due to a lack of competition and no profit motive. Subsidies on essential goods and services quickly lead to shortages. Therefore, queuing is common in command economies. That directly relates to the time management of the country or the region. Now, the last type of economics is mixed economy. A mixed economic system combines elements of the market and command economy. Many economic decisions are made in the market by individuals, but the government also plays a role in the allocation and distribution of resources. Characteristics of mixed economy are resources are owned both by the government as well as private individuals. That is, coexistence of both public sector and private sector. Market forces prevail but are closely monitored by the government. Apart from national security, government engages itself in those activities that the private enterprises consider as unprofitable or beyond their reach. Many a times, all basic and heavy industries and other strategic sector of an economy, example banking, transport, energy, etc., are controlled by the government. Agriculture, consumer goods, and other industries trades are left for the private sector. Advantages of this type of economical system are it mixes the benefits of capitalist nature of private companies and socialist nature of the government. Looks to balance economic growth of the economy and income. Mixed economy allows individuals to run their business and make profits but contribute towards society. Bureaucratic decisions. A mixed system is not a purely command economy. When the state controls key sectors, bureaucratic decisions can affect the economy's efficiency. A fully planned economy's advantage is that all sectors are controlled based on a general plan. Disadvantages of this system are since welfare of society is important in a mixed economy, it leads to lower than optimum use of the resources because government mobilize the resources towards the production of those goods and services which are beneficial for the society as a whole rather than producing those goods and services which in economic terms are more beneficial for an economy. Concentration of wealth in few hands in this economical system. Sometimes wastage of resources may occur in this type of system, which is the issue of national development and the international development as well. Under mixed economy, private enterprises have to face a lot of difficulty because of various government loopholes like favoritism and bureaucratic nature, which is prevalent in mixed economy. After studying the 4 types of economics, you must be thinking which one is the best economics for today. The merge of both of the economical systems, that is mixed economy system, is considered better at this time in the world. The ideal economic system for today is a blend of socialism and capitalism. Products, services, price and quantities are determined at national level as a guideline to all industry and commerce, but not regulated by law. This would allow someone not to work and receive minimum benefits to allow him or her to live a decent life. Scope of economics. Now we will move further and study scope of economics. Scope of the economics is conceptually similar to the scale of the economics. Internal economies of scale. When a company reduces costs and increases production, internal economies of scale have been achieved. External economies of scale. External economies of scale occur outside of a firm within an industry. For example, the creation of a better transportation network, resulting in a subsequent decrease in cost for a company working within that industry. External economies of scale are said to have been achieved. There are certain ways to achieve economies of scale, such as lower input costs. A pricing strategy in which a company offers a relatively low price to stimulate demand and gain market share is called as the lower input costs. Costly inputs. Costly input means component of a cost estimate. Some inputs, such as research and development, they are used to increase the efficiency and thus reduce the cost of production and selling. Specialized inputs. For greater efficiency, company can include some special labor or special machinery that is called as the specialized inputs. Learning inputs. Learning processes related to production, selling and distribution can result in improved efficiency. Practice makes perfect. Micro and macroeconomics. After the above discussion, it will be easy for you to understand the 2 main parts of economics, which are micro and macroeconomics. Meaning of microeconomics. In microeconomics, basic units of study are very small. These could be an individual consumer, a household, a producer, a market, a firm, or an industry. It studies how the scarce resources are allocated to the satisfaction of competing objectives using price theory. Microeconomics helps us to understand various things. Some of them are: it helps us in understanding the working of a free enterprise economy. It gives us an idea about how major economic decisions are taken in a market economy. It suggests economizing, that is, how efficiently the scarce available resources can be utilized in production process in an economy. Microeconomics is used to explain gains from internal trade, external trade, foreign exchange and balance of payment, disequilibrium, and in the determination of exchange rate. Microeconomics explains how imposition of different types of direct and indirect taxes lead to attainment of social welfare. There are certain types of microeconomics, such as microstatistics. It is that method of analysis which deals with relationships between 2 or more micro variables at a given time. Comparative microstatistics. It makes a comparative study of the relationship between the micro variables and equilibrium positions without explaining how the new equilibrium is attained or what happens during the transition from one equilibrium to another. Microdynamics. Microdynamics refers to a position, by which the system passes from one position of equilibrium to other. It throws full light on the happening in the transition from one equilibrium to another. Macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is concerned with the behavior or the functioning of an economy. It studies the aggregate economic variables, those variables that affect the economy as a whole. For example, national income, unemployment, inflation, etc. Now I will give you the brief about the events which led to evolution of macroeconomics. The Great Depression of the 1930s exploded the myth of full employment under a perfectly competitive market as the world witnessed a persistent fall in output coupled with a fall in employment, income and general price level. At that time, British economist J.M. Keynes wrote his famous book, General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. Keynes' work revolutionized economic thinking and sowed the seeds of macroeconomics. The Keynesian school of macroeconomics focuses on total demand and looks to both fiscal policy, government spending levels, and monetary policy, money supply growth for solutions. A central conclusion of Keynesian economics is that there is no strong automatic tendency for output and employment to move towards full employment levels. After studying both micro and macro, one should be clear about the difference between them. Some of the differences between microeconomics and macroeconomics are: microeconomics. Microeconomics studies the problems of individual economic units such as a firm, an industry, a consumer, etc. Microeconomics studies the problems of price determination, resource allocation, etc. While formulating economic theories, microeconomics assumes that other things remain constant. The main determinants of microeconomics is price. Macroeconomics. Macroeconomics studies economic problems relating to an economy, viz. National income, total savings, etc. Macroeconomics studies the problems of economic growth, employment, and income determination, etc. In microeconomics, economic variables are mutually interrelated independently. In microeconomics, economic variables are mutually interrelated independently. Basic economic problems. After studying micro and macroeconomics, one can understand the basic economic problems, which are: every economic system faces basic economic problems related to production, distribution, and consumption in the society. There are three essential parts of economic problem faced by all economies. These are unlimited wants. Every individual wants to improve her standard of living by consuming or buying more goods and services. We therefore say that people have unlimited wants. Limited resources. Resources are limited in comparison to wants. Scarcity means that an economy does not have sufficient availability of goods to satisfy the unlimited wants. Alternative uses of resources. That the same resources can be used to produce two different goods at the same time. Also, there are certain central problems of an economy. What to produce? This problem arises because resources are scarce and can be put to alternate uses. An economy must decide on the kinds of the goods and services it would like to produce using the existing resources. How to produce? This problem is concerned with choosing the technique of production that is to be used for producing the output. A technique is either labor or capital intensive. For whom to produce? The problem for whom to produce is related to the distribution of the produced output among the factors of production. Factors need to be compensated for their efforts in producing the output. Concepts of production. Moving further, I will explain you about the production possibility frontier. It is a locus of point which depicts all possible combinations of two goods that an economy can produce at a given level of technology and resources. The production possibility frontier (PPF) represents the point at which an economy is most efficiently producing its goods and services and therefore allocating its resources in the best way possible. When the production possibility frontier shifts outwards, there is growth in an economy. Alternatively, when the PPF shifts inwards, it indicates that the economy is shrinking as a result of a decline in its most efficient allocation of resources and optimal production capability. Let me explain the diagram. The curve is used to describe a society's choice between two different goods. Figure shows the two goods as consumption and investment. To show the point where all resources were used to produce consumption goods, one should move straight up the vertical axis to the curve. To show the points where all resources were used to produce investment goods, one should move straight on the horizontal axis to the curve. Both points are extreme and unrealistic. Both points A and B represented more realistic combinations, with point A showing more consumption and less investment, while point B shows more investment and less consumption. Opportunity cost. I hope you understood this concept that I just explained. Now we will move further and study about opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is defined as the benefit lost in terms of the best alternative foregone when a choice is made. When a person makes a choice, certain other options that were available earlier are no longer possible as the resources cannot be used for two alternatives. This hypothetical curve shows how much of consumption must be given up to increase investments, the movement from A to B. This demonstrates the important economic concept of opportunity cost, which is the cost of anything such as an investment in a new road, in terms of what has to be given up. Let us now study the advantages of the study of economics. The most important benefit of studying economics is learning how to think like an economist. Economists study how scarce resources are allocated so that the well-being of individual is maximized. One can think analytically, critically, and strategically. One can reduce complicated problems to their important components and formulate solutions to these problems. One can apply up-to-date theoretical ideas as a framework for understanding the world around us. One can develop our numeracy and develop our ability to work on our own or as part of a team. One can communicate effectively. Summary. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learnt in this lecture. Economics is a study of science and arts. There are four types of economics: traditional, market, command, and mixed economy. Microeconomics is concerned with the study of individual units, and macroeconomics is concerned with the study of economy as a whole. Basic economic problems are what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Production possibility frontier depicts the point at which an economy is most efficiently producing its goods and services. Opportunity cost is the benefit lost in terms of the best alternative foregone when a choice is made. The advantages of studying economics: enables one to think like economist, enables one to think analytically, critically, and strategically, gives better understanding of the world, helps in effective communication.